So I saw a picture yesterday, and it was 10 gold bars. They're 10 ounces apiece, right? And the caption on the left was, in 1920, 10 of these gold bars would buy you an average house, right? In 2024, 10 of these gold bars would buy you an average house as well.
Hmm.
So people really want to complain about how expensive housing is right now,
Mm.
but it really has more to do with the value of the dollar than it does the value of housing.
Mm.
If you're going to run it parallel to commodities like gold, then 10 gold bars would have bought you a house in 1920. 10 gold bars would have bought you a house in 2024 as well.
Mm.
So I think
Everything's more expensive.
everything's more expensive. Yeah, absolutely. Now, when you're talking about like the cost of living and going to the grocery store, I don't know how that works in comparison to the price of gold.
I know it costs more, that's for sure.
It does cost
I
more.
got 4 kids. I can promise you it costs more.
You're right, right. Well, and part of the issue is the value of the dollar has gone up, but income hasn't really gone up.
Mm.
So, I'm sorry, the value of the dollar has gone down,
Mm-hmm.
but the income hasn't really gone up.
Mm.
So, this is definitely this is a tough time. I know it has a lot of effect on how long some houses sit in the market for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just with perceived value, I think that goes kind of hand in hand with what a seller perceives that their house is worth and how much they can get for it in this market versus what the buyer perceives that the house is worth because they're the person who's going to be buying it and now living there. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the value of gold and the perceived value of what a home is and how long they sit in the market definitely go hand in hand.
Absolutely. And we deal with this all the time where somebody says, okay, I want to sell my house or I need to sell my house, but the value that they have attached to it because of sentimentality does not match the value that's there because of what you're actually getting.
Right, right. Yeah, so baby girl took her first steps in the dining room has a priceless value to you, but the person who is moving into the home is like,
You got shag carpet. That's
Yeah.
for nothing.
Exactly.
So, why do some homes sit on the market longer than others, in your opinion?
Well, we know that there are 3 reasons, right?
Yep.
Number 1 is
Price,
price. Number 2 is
condition,
condition. Number 3 is
value,
location.
location. You're right.
Location. All right. So there are some houses you can sell. Get it's trash, but it's going to sell really fast and for a high price because of the location. Now, our general area doesn't have locations that are really like that, but Manhattan, for instance, you buy a cardboard box in Manhattan, you're going to pay $1 million because you're going to be in Manhattan.
Yeah.
However, here, I think of Fort Thomas because Fort Thomas has great schools. They're one of the like number 1 or number 2 rated schools in Kentucky, and so people assign extra value to being in Fort Thomas. Now, I love Fort Thomas. It's a great community, so many wonderful things, but a lot of these houses are older houses. All right, the basements leak. Right, the upstairs bedrooms are converted attic space. You got the slanted ceilings. They're small. There's almost no closet space, and people will spend $350,000 on these houses because their kids get to be in Fort Thomas School. You take that exact same house, same condition, right? Same layout, same everything. Just pick that house up and put it in downtown Covington. That is no longer a $350,000 house.
No.
That is maybe, depending on exactly what part of downtown Covington, maybe a $250,000 house. And you say, oh my gosh, how could it be that different? Location. Location. Yeah, why is it houses are more expensive on the beach in Florida than they are inland? You can get the same exact house. It's the same exact builder because you're on the beach, baby. Location matters. So the other one you mentioned is condition. Talk a little bit about condition.
Yeah, so the condition of your house absolutely matters. So the age of the roof, the age of your windows, is your kitchen updated? Is the bathrooms updated? Do you have shag carpet? Do you have hardwood floors? All that stuff matters to the buyer and to the appraiser when they're appraising the house and walking through, and when they're also comparing it to the other homes that are in the neighborhood that's recently sold. You can have two houses in a cookie cutter neighborhood that are exactly the same. One has not been updated since it was built, and the other one has been updated in the last 5 years, and there will be a big difference in what those two values are of those homes.
Could be same square footage, same layout, same everything. And I don't know about you, but I've had people that, well, my roof doesn't leak. Okay, but the shingles are sloughing off. It's only a matter of time, so we can't charge a premium price, or at least not offer a credit
Right.
to fix the roof.
Yeah. Or some kind of warranty that ensures the new buyer that if something is wrong with this within the first year or two, I'm not coming out of my pocket substantially. I'm just paying a deductible, and then it can be fixed, repaired, replaced, or whatever
And
need be.
here's the other thing too, is it's not just the condition for you, but insurance. So it used to be that, and I think technically the rule is still that as long as it has 1 year of life left, it's financeable. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah.
I know for VA and FHA, but insurance companies now are starting to refuse to insure homes that have roofs over 10 to 15 years old. Because even if it's a 30-year shingle, you start seeing deterioration, you start seeing breakage, all this stuff, hail damage, and maybe you don't need to replace the whole roof. So they're saying, nope, it's not gonna, well, if you can't insure it, you can't.
You can't finance it.
So that's a problem.
Right.
Appliances, right? I mean, you walk into a house, now here's the thing with condition. You walk into a house and it's got 1980s appliances, you might look at those and think, oh gosh. But you know what? That fridge is probably gonna outlive you. If it works.
I just saw that. That was great.
Right?
Yeah.
Well,
They do. That's what
I
it is.
have this situation right now in my house. Last July, I bought a brand new fridge, $1,100. Brand new fridge. From the store, delivered to my house. It has only been 11 months. That fridge is 100 degrees. The fridge is 100 degrees inside. You can't put anything in that.
Cook something on that.
Yeah.
I called, so thankfully I bought the warranty, because usually I don't buy warranties on appliances because I have a home warranty.
Right.
But because it was brand new and I was just buying the fridge, I bought the warranty, and I'm so glad I did, because it cost me nothing. I'm getting a brand new fridge. But I'm like, I don't even know if I want a brand new fridge. I want to go to the secondhand store and buy a 1990s fridge that I know is still gonna work.
Yeah.
Put that one in the garage.
Yeah. Everything was just made better to last back then. Now there's plastic parts.
It's planned.
Everything is breaking.
I don't want to go off on a crazy tangent, but it is planned obsolescence. They do this because the market has to continue to. It's got to be in a cycle, right? So you buy something, it breaks. You go buy something new, or you buy something and it lasts you forever, and you're the happiest customer ever.
Yeah. We our current deal, I don't know if you knew this, so the building was built in 1942, and the furnace is an original furnace.
That's
So
right.
So it's the big bulky green
Oh yes.
huge furnace.
As big as a car.
Yeah. So, but the current seller has maintenance to every year. He gets all the, the maintenance is done and keeps it updated, and it's still running. It's still kicking. So
That thing will last through when China nukes us.
Jesus will come back. I had one just like that in Bellevue a few years ago, and at first the lender was like, nope, the furnace is going to have to be updated. The furnace works. The furnace works great. We had 4 different HVAC companies come out and be like, this furnace is in top-notch shape. You need to replace one little valve. It was a rubber piece, and it took us 3 weeks and calling 11 different states before we could find that piece because how old it was. But we replaced that piece. She bought that in 2019, still has that furnace. It still works great. Whereas my furnace, I just had to replace the whole, or my air conditioner, I just had to replace the whole condenser unit. It's only 5 years old. But, the condition matters, but sometimes if you've got original systems that can be maintained, that can be better than oh, well, I don't like the way it looks. Aesthetics are important, but you got to think about $1,000 every year.
Right.
That matters. You you mentioned hardwoods.
Mm-hmm.
Again, hardwood floors can add tremendous value, but they have to be taken care of.
If you had dogs, don't get hardwood floors.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I really like hardwood floors, but I like my dogs more.
I would say if you have kids, don't get hardwood floors, because I got hardwood floors and my kids just scratched the mess out. I'm like, oh God, why did I spend all this money on these beautiful? So all of that, but condition matters, absolutely, and then of course pricing.
Yeah, so again, a lot of current homeowners who are looking to sell their homes add a lot of emotional value to the property. The new person coming in is not gonna see that same value that you see, the same emotional value that you see. So when you see your home, if we give you a range and we say this home can likely sell between 230 and 260, and you want to sell it for 280, just because you have some emotional value there, or you just think that the market is going to give you that, I highly advise you to listen to your trusted advisor, because you may or may not get that. And then at the end of the day, even if somebody does come in and offer that, you have to remember that it needs to appraise at that price as well. So,
And the appraiser definitely is not going to care about your emotional value.
Not at all.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. This is the biggest transaction that most people participate in, on both sides. Selling, buying, whatever you want to do. There's not a whole lot of room for your feelings in there.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just the way it works. So.
And that's hard, because buying and selling real estate is an emotional process.
It 100% is. Part of the reason it's so emotional is because you don't get to afford any emotions anymore.
and because there's so much money involved, you're like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Right.
So I get that, but yeah, you coming home from your honeymoon, this is your first house, bringing your babies home, that's important to you. That's not important to the next buyer.
Yeah.
But also the aesthetics. I mean, kind of condition, but you're a super religious person. That's awesome. I'm the real estate pastor. You got 500 crosses on the wall. Probably need to take those down.
Yeah, I agree.
You're a horror fan. Fantastic. If you got creepy clowns in every closet that pop out, you need to take care of that.
The fake blood splatters that you have all over the bedroom have to go. They need to be painted. The current buyers need to be able to see themselves there. And a red wall or an accent wall, that's okay, but you want to neutralize the painting in the house to be a neutral color that people can again see themselves there. Get rid of clutter, and all that stuff.
Open up. You can have the biggest kitchen in the world, but if you've got all of your countertops covered with fruit baskets and small appliances and kids' homework, and nobody can see the counter space and see that, then they're not going to appreciate how big that space is as well. You can have a huge farm sink, but if it's full of dirty dishes, all people are going to see is full of dirty dishes.
Yeah.
So again, we're going to go through with somebody when you're looking at selling. We're going to talk to you about that. We're going to talk about basic decluttering, home staging, possibly professional home staging if needed, depending on your situation. But all of these things are not because we want to cause you more stress and anxiety and cause you to do more work. It's because when your house looks clean and fresh and open, then a buyer coming in is going to be able to see that space and imagine themselves there.
Yeah.
And that's going to help them make an offer.
Yeah. And I work both sides of the transactions. I have had sellers and I have had buyers. So when I'm walking a buyer through the house, I always advise them, don't look at what's currently here. None of this stuff is going to be here when you move in. You're going to paint the walls a completely different color. But some people just can't see past that stuff.
Right.
So, it's your job, if you're selling your home, to make it be as inviting, as clean, as open as possible. It's okay to have, some boxes stacked up in the corner. People know you're moving, obviously, because you're selling your home. But you want to make it as inviting and as clean, as if you were going to buy something. You're not going to buy a car that has dents all over it, a dirty carpet that needs to be vacuumed. You want it to be sparkly and shiny, and that's how your house should be as well.
Well, and you can explain the boxes in the corner, and you can explain, keep in mind, it's not going to look like this.
Right.
But if the house is in good shape, then you can spend your time doing more valuable things.
Right.
like explaining the benefits to the bathrooms and the kitchen, and you know, I mean,
I don't want to have to explain why there is a skeleton dressed as a maid swinging around a pole in the middle of the master bedroom.
I want to come to that party.
I show that house in Newport.
Did
Oh
you?
my gosh!
I did.
You didn't take a picture?
I did, but
We'll save that for all.
So there are just things that, you know, if your house is sitting, for instance, maybe you're for sale by owner, or maybe you've been listed and it's currently canceled or withdrawn or off the market and it didn't sell, you're like, man, you know, I'm in a good location, it's in fairly good condition. All right, you can't change location. Sometimes you can't change condition because you don't have the money to do certain things, so you can get creative and offer concessions. Sorry, I was thinking contingencies, and I knew that one right. Concessions. But then the other thing is to affect the price. Doing these things like we're doing, making sure the grass is cut.
Yeah.
Making sure that the kitchen is clean. Making sure the toilets are clean. Right. Yeah. The lids are down. I mean, just little things that can make a big difference.
Yeah.
And we're here to help with that too.
Absolutely.
How do they get in touch with you guys?
So if you want to reach me, I'm in Ohio, Caldwell Banker. You can reach me at 513-788-1219.
And in Northern Kentucky, 859-962-7978.
I'll do financing in Northern Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana. Feel free to give me a call at 513-907-2530.
Thanks, everybody.